Good morning and afternoon, I guess, students. Today we will not be having a live lesson, so instead I want you to follow this video and we're going to discuss a concussion. So first, in Pear Deck, what I would like you to do is I'd like you to enter in your definition of a concussion. I'm going to go ahead and give you 2 minutes starting now. What is a concussion? What does it include? What signs and symptoms? What is a concussion? So a concussion is a brain injury. We all have heard of concussions and we've seen big videos of hits from people taking in football or soccer or pretty much any contact sport that results in a concussion. But really, what is the medical definition? The medical definition of a concussion is a traumatic brain injury or a TBI caused by a blow, shaking, or spinning of the head, which will lead to an immediate but temporary impairment of brain function such as thinking, vision, equilibrium, and or consciousness. Okay. Now, a concussion does not require all of these in order to be diagnosed as a concussion. Okay. But the really important thing here is that it is a chemical injury. It is not a physical injury. So a lot of times when we think of injuries, we think of a bruise or a fracture, but a concussion is quite different. It is a change with the chemical balance in your brain. Okay. So what is this picture here showing us? The picture is showing us the coup and counter coup injury. So for example, somebody's hit in the head by, let's say, a fist or a ball. Doesn't really matter. Okay. This picture here on the left-hand side shows your coup injury. The head is forced backwards from the blow, may not be this far, but it might, and the brain hits the front of the skull. Well, your head only goes so far before it whips back the other way. And then your skull hits the backside of your brain. That is called the counter coup injury. And the same thing can happen from side to side. Okay. So the coup and counter coup is actually two different injuries that can lead to a concussion. Okay. Now, a lot of people think they know how to recognize or diagnose a concussion, but it's a very complex injury. But these are usually the big hits that people think of when they think of a concussion. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, no. Here comes the, oh. Here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, no. Here comes the, oh. Here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. I said so. I keep big bills up in my heart on the dirty like blood. So ain't got no twist in my head, but okay. So those are a few examples of a big hit that a lot of people go, yeah, okay, that's a concussion. But what about smaller hits? So for example, soccer. Well, this is not the right video. Sorry, guys. What about these ones? Okay. So soccer players use their heads a lot. That is one tool that they are very much encouraged to use. But that can cause what is called subconcussive blows. They're not the big hit, the one where the player just gets blown up or just taken off their feet, like we saw in the football videos. Okay. But these repetitive hits, the ones that come time after time after time, can have the same damage. Why? Why are these small hits to the head just as damaging or bad as the big ones? Go ahead and type in your response in Pear Deck. The truth is, scientists don't really know why completely yet. Concussions are very, very much a studied injury, and they are an injury. Okay, so we can treat them. Okay, but scientists are still trying to figure out exactly how they can be treated, how they can be prevented. Okay, but those subconcussive blows, think of a bruise. Okay, so you have a bruise, and I just kept sitting there and hitting it and hitting it and hitting it and hitting it and hitting it. Is it ever going to get better? No, probably not, because we are not giving it a chance to recover. And that's one of the greatest fears that we have with concussions. Is if you keep getting hit and hit and hit, we may be able to prevent it early enough if we could detect it. But unfortunately, at this time, we are not able to detect those injuries early enough. So what do we do? Well, excuse me. How do we recognize them? So there's lots of signs and symptoms of a concussion. This is just a few to start with. You have the obvious ones: the headache, the confusion, the blurred vision, the seeing spots. Okay. The trick to the concussion is it depends on what part of the brain is injured. And that will really determine what type of symptoms we are having. So, how do we recognize a concussion? We have a lot of different tests. Okay. There are the best tests: impact, SCAT5, hit check, VOMS. These are all tests that we can use in order to help us determine if a concussion is present. Today, what you're going to do is you are going to use the SCAT5. Okay. So go ahead and click on the image here, and it will take you to the test. Okay. Now, the SCAT5 is a very good test, and its name comes from the Sport Concussion Assessment Tool, SCAT 5, 5th edition. Okay. There are a lot of professional groups, FIFA, the Olympics, the NFL, that use this test. Okay. The first page here is your immediate or on-field assessment. We're going to go ahead and skip this section for today. Where I want you to start is the office or off-field assessment. So here's what you're going to do. You are going to give the SCAT5 assessment to somebody at home. Now, you can either one, print this off, or two, write in the answers on your ISN. Okay. Either way, you need to turn in a picture or a copy of your SCAT5 for your assignment today. So I'm going to walk you through this, and I want you to complete it with somebody as we go. Okay. The general information here is actually very important. Sport, team, and school, You can make it up or you can leave it blank. That is okay. Where I really want you to start is the years of education completed. Okay? Age, gender, dominant hand, how many diagnosed concussions has that athlete had in the past? Okay, diagnosed, not, oh yeah, I probably had them, but I never did anything. Okay, but diagnosed. You went to a physician and they said, yes, you have a concussion. If they have 0, then great. When was the most recent concussion? Give me a month and a year if you've had multiple. And how long was the recovery? Generally speaking, okay, if you don't know, that's okay. To determine years of education completed, if you are a senior in high school, you are in the 12th grade. So you have completed 11 years of education. Okay. So sophomores, you have completed 9 years. If you're talking to your parents and they graduated from college, they have 16 years. If they have another degree, then you have to add in those years. Okay. Next, you're going to ask the athlete some general questions. Have you ever been hospitalized for a head injury? Okay. You do not ask them about a concussion. A lot of times, as soon as you say the word concussion, athletes start to panic. So we're just going to use the words head injury. Have you ever been diagnosed or treated for headache disorder or migraines? Okay. Diagnosed with a learning disability or dyslexia. Diagnosed with ADD or ADHD. Diagnosed with depression, anxiety, or other psychiatric disorders. Okay. These questions are very important because they can lead us to being more susceptible or more likely to have a head injury. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is you're going to go through this list of signs and symptoms with your patient. Okay. Now, there's a little bit of a trick here. Say we're talking about blurred vision. If you normally have blurred vision, say you wear sunglasses or contacts, or you need to wear them, that is normal for you. We are asking if anything is worse than normal. Okay? So your scale is 0 to 6. 0 is no, I have no headache or blurred vision or pressure in the head at all. 1, 2, mild. 3, 4, moderate. 5, 6, severe. Okay? And you're going to do this as an interview. So you're going to ask your athlete, do you currently have a headache? What is the number on the scale? Okay. You're going to ask those questions and mark the answer as you go all the way down. Okay. Once you are done with that, you are going to total the number of symptoms. So if they had a headache, nausea, dizziness, that is 3. Okay. You would add up all the ones that have a numbered circled. So the maximum you can have is 22 because that's how many signs and symptoms there are. Symptom severity score then is you're going to add up the actual numbers. So said they had a headache of 4 and nausea of 2 and dizziness of 4. That is 10, not 3. So that is the difference between the total number of symptoms and the symptom severity score. Okay. Do your symptoms get worse with physical activity? Now, in this case, you're not going to ask them to do physical activity. This is as if an athlete was coming to you the next day after an injury. So I would ask them, walking around between campus or between periods, does that make you feel worse? And it's a simple yes or no. Do your symptoms get worse with mental activity? Thinking in class, reading a book, watching a podcast. Does that make your signs and symptoms worse? Yes or no? Okay. Next, you're going to ask them, if 100% is totally normal, I feel great, what percentage do you feel currently? If they do not say 100%, ask them why. Are they tired? Are they stressed? They feel dizzy? Why are they not 100%? And you'll take some notes down here in this section. Now that we have our information, we're going to start actually getting into the testing. The SCAT-5 is really good about coming around tests that are going to ask you immediate information, stuff that's happening right now, plus new information and remembering new information. So you're going to start with a couple of simple questions. What month is it? If they get it right, they get 1 point. If they get it wrong, you circle 0. What is the date? The actual number. So today's the 9th. So if they say 8, 7, 10, you circle 0. If they say 9, then you circle 1. What is the day of the week? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If they say Monday, then you give them the point. What year is it? Correct, you give them 1 point. Incorrect, you give them 0. And roughly, what time is it? So they have an hour. It is currently 10 o'clock. If they say 9 o'clock, they still get the point. If they say 8 o'clock, they don't. Okay. You get 1 point for every correct answer. So you would total up those 5 and write them down in the darker orange box. Okay. Next is the immediate memory section. You are only going to pick one list down here. You're not doing all of them. Okay. I stay in the list with only 5 words because it's easier for me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read you a list of words and I want you to repeat them to me in order after I'm done reading the list. Those are the instructions that you would give your athlete. I'm going to read you a list of words. I want you to repeat them back to me in order after I'm done with the list. Okay. So for example, I'm using list A. I would say finger, penny, blanket, lemon, insect. And then the patient would read them back to me or list them back off. They cannot look at the test. However many they get correct, you put in trial 1. Great, they're done with trial 1. Then you're going to read the list of words again. Finger, penny, blanket, lemon, insect. And then your patient repeats them back to you. That's trial 2. And then you're going to do that 1 more time and enter that to trial 3. You will then take and add those 3 numbers together to come up with your immediate memory score. How many out of 15 did they get right? Okay. Now, what I want you to do is mark down the time that you completed it. So if it's midnight because you're doing this in the middle of the night, is it 2 o'clock in the afternoon? What time are you done with that section? Okay. Then you can skip this section here, the alternate 10-word list. Okay, you can skip that. Next, we're going to go to digits backwards. Again, you are going to complete only one list. Okay, so for this example, I'll use list C. Your instructions to the patient. I'm going to read you a list of numbers, and I want you to repeat them to me backwards. For example, if I say 1, 2, 3, you would say 3, 2, 1. Okay? So you will then read just one list here. So list C, I would say 1, 2, 4. If the person gets it right, you circle yes and mark 1. Okay? Then I'm going to skip this line here. And I'm going to go to 4 numbers. If they got that list wrong, I would circle no. And then I'm going to come to the second row here and say 6, 5, 8. If they get it right, then I mark yes and I give them 1. If they get it wrong, I mark no, they get 0, and this part of the test is over. Okay? You only get 2 tries at each length of a chain. So 3, 4, 5, and 6. If you get 2 wrong, then you're done. If you get 1 wrong, get it right, and then 1 wrong, you get to keep going because you have to get it wrong for both numbers of the same chain. Okay? When you're done with that, you'll put the number correct of 4. Okay? So if they get all the way down here, typically it's very hard for people to get 6 numbers backwards. Okay? You can pick any one of these lists. Okay? Once this section is done, you're going to go to the months in reverse order. You will ask them to please repeat the months of the year backwards. So if I say December, November, go ahead. Okay. So then you have the list here to follow. If they get any of them wrong, so they go December, November, September, August, they skipped October, they get 0 points. Okay. If they get the entire chain correct, they get 1 point. And that number goes here. Okay. You will then add your digit score and your month score for your concentration total score here. Okay. If the scoring gets confusing, that is okay. We will do it again later. Okay. Next is the neurological screen. Okay. This part of the test gets a little bit fun, at least for me. Okay. So what you will do is you'll start by having the patient read aloud and follow instructions without difficulty. So what I tell them to do is I hand them the list of the symptoms and I say, please read aloud the first 5 symptoms: headache, pressure in head, neck pain, nausea or vomiting, dizziness. If they keep going, that means they're not following the instructions. Okay. If they ask you, wait, what? Huh? I don't get it. Okay. They should be able to answer that question straightforward. Okay. Are they able to do it? Yes or not? No. Does the patient have full range of pain-free passive cervical motion? What this means is, can the patient move their head side to side, front to back, and rotating without causing pain? Yes or no? Okay. Next, without moving the head or neck, can the patient look side to side and up and down without double vision? Okay, so their head is staying still and they're just turning their eyes side to side and then up and down and seeing if that causes double vision. You will know if it causes double vision. The person will get a little bit dizzy and they may even turn a little bit pale. Okay, so can the person do that? Yes or no? Next, think of a DUI checkpoint. Can the patient perform the finger to nose concentration test normally? So everybody's seen this on a video or on a commercial where the patient has their hand out to the side and the tip of the finger goes to the tip of the nose. Okay. And they need to do that 5 times. Can they do that normally? Yes or no? Okay. Can the patient perform tandem gait normally? Tandem gait means heel to toe. So they're going to walk in a straight line with their head up and they're going to walk heel to toe. Can they do that without falling over or stumbling? Okay. Yes or no? Okay. Next is the balance exam. In this case, we're going to ask them which foot was tested. So if you don't know What foot would you kick a soccer ball with? If you kick the ball with the right, then you're going to test the left. So we're looking for their non-dominant side. Okay. You'll then note this testing surface. So is it a hard floor, carpet, grass, dirt? What was it? And what footwear? Are they in shoes, socks, cleats? What are they wearing? Okay. This test is comprised of 3 simple balancing tests. Each test lasts for 20 seconds. First, double leg stance. They're going to put their feet together, hands on their hips, and when they are ready, they are going to close their eyes. And they need to stay in that position for 20 seconds. And you're looking for errors. What is an error? An error can be if their hand comes off of their hip, if they wiggle side to side more than 30 degrees, if they open their eyes. Okay, those are all errors. And you're going to count. If they get to 10 in 20 seconds, then they are done. Okay, so if they're at 15 seconds and they're already at 10 errors, test is over. Okay. Next is a single leg stance. So they will be balancing on the non-dominant foot. For me, that would be the left. I will then put the right foot up in front of me. Okay. And again, I have to balance there with my eyes closed and my hands on my hips for 20 seconds. And we're counting errors. The last test here is the tandem stance. So that is non-dominant foot at the back, right, for me, the left. So my right foot then is in front and I'm heel to toe. Hands on my hips, eyes closed. Okay? And I am counting errors. Total errors. You're going to add up all 3 tests. The best score you can possibly get is 0. Okay? Then, after they do the balance test, you are going to ask them if they can remember any of the 5 words that I read to them earlier. It does not matter the order. So the 5 words we're looking for were finger, penny, blanket, lemon, insect. Okay? And you would write in the words that they get correct and give a total of 5. Okay? If you don't understand any of this or get lost, there is an instructions page for you here. And it tells you exactly what to say and how to do it. Okay? That will be your assignment for today. Okay? I will take attendance based on you completing your pair deck. And then your grade you will also be graded for your SCAT 5 completion. If you guys have questions, go ahead and email me. Attendance will be taken at the end of the day. Well, I shouldn't say end of the day. It will be taken by 4 o'clock. Okay, you have until 4 o'clock to at least complete the pair deck. You will have until Thursday, because we do not have class on Wednesday. You'll have until Thursday to complete your SCAT 5.